Daniel Handler's best-selling literary franchise is getting a brand new adaptation, courtesy of Netflix. And now that there's a strong chance we're entering a new era of popularity for this property, I feel like we should talk about the first time these books were put on screen. Now, there is plenty of interesting stuff to find in the 2004 ASOUE adaptation, enough to fill more than one video. I mean, I could probably write scripts for 3 different videos and then condense them into one. I call it Max Marriner's A Variety of Vile Videos. Million subs in one day, guaranteed. But today, I want to focus on the character that overshadows the entire story, Count Olaf. More specifically, Count Olaf played by Jim Carrey. Let's be real, this guy is the most well-known figure in this series outside of the author, which is exactly why 2 of the most well-known actors of their respective mediums have depicted him. I think Jim Carrey's Olaf is worth a whole video because, to me, his depiction represents one of the many obstacles that come with translating characters and scenarios from one art form to another.
Shall we take a look?
These days, adaptations are everywhere you look. Doesn't matter what it is, book to movie, movie to game, comic to movie, movie to movie. I guess movies are always a part of the conversation, huh? And when you're talking about adaptations of big franchises with origins outside of the silver screen, accuracy to the source material is always scrutinized. People complain about this stuff around the clock, like how Goblet of Fire completely negates the house elf subplot, or how the Mandarin from Iron Man 3 is a mockery of the original villain. But honestly, I'm not interested in conversations like that. To me, different mediums have different rules, different ways to succeed. And aside from that, I don't really want to watch an exact replication of a story that's already been told. But even with that said, I do think the accuracy of an adaptation matters in some ways, especially in tone and main characters. Which brings us to Count Olaf. The primary antagonist of this sequence of sad things happening is perhaps the most important character in the series. In the books, he's one of the main orchestrators of these unfortunate events that befall the Baudelaire children so often. He's kind of like a My First Slasher Movie villain, a junior level Freddy or Jason. Just when you think he's done it for good, he keeps coming back. On the surface, it sounds silly, and it kind of is, but what turns him into a great antagonist is the fact that his many disguises fool the adults, but not the children. Count Olaf works as a villain because the only people who can see how dangerous he truly is are the 3 children all the adults refuse to believe. His persistence and manipulation convey a sense of true powerlessness, which contributes so much to the dour, dark atmosphere that defines this franchise's appeal. And to its credit, the film absolutely nails the atmosphere, nails the retro art design, nails the muted color palette. It's all definitely faithful to the source material. But then there's Jim Carrey's Count Olaf. Let's get this right out of the way. This is not Count Olaf. This is Jim Carrey doing his Jim Carrey thing in a Count Olaf costume. But is that a bad thing? No, not inherently. See, I'm not upset that Jim Carrey doesn't stay true to the original Count Olaf. I enjoy funny Olaf.
Dinner is served. Puttanesca.
What did you call me?
But here's the thing. If you're gonna fundamentally change an integral part of the source material, you can't just leave the rest as is. You've gotta change everything else to keep a sense of cohesion. This is why making good movies is so hard. Everything needs to fit together. Everything. I want to make this crystal clear. The performance is not a problem because it's different. It's a problem because nothing else is different. Everybody else on the cast and crew seems to be on the same page except for Jim Carrey. As a result, his performance sticks out like a sore thumb. And when that sore thumb is so important to the atmosphere of Lemony Snicket's writing, it almost breaks the whole movie. Jim Carrey's Olaf is like an agent of chaos, not only as an obstacle for the children, but also an obstacle for the movie itself. I think the clearest example of Jim Carrey's disconnect from the character is in the film's climax. When revealing his master plan to a confused crowd of adults, you know, his plan to inherit the Baudelaire's fortune by forcing the eldest child into marriage, that whole thing, Olaf, says this.
These children tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. No one ever listens to children.
Okay, this is a problem. Olaf is terrifying because he so easily manipulates the adults. Him calling out the adults for not listening to the Baudelaires is completely backwards. Like, imagine if in The Dark Knight, the Joker started apologizing to Batman for inconveniencing him by not having any rules or structure or consistency. You know, the whole reason why he's such a great villain for Batman? I can't believe how completely out of touch this line is. In an instant, Jim Carrey's depiction of Count Olaf effectively dresses down the element that makes him such a great villain in the books. That's a blunder. But, in spite of all of this, Jim Carrey's Olaf doesn't actually ruin the movie. He just holds it back from being something genuinely great, because all the other elements are on full blast. Seriously, this is a really good movie. But the one character who's not totally in sync with the film's tone and atmosphere is also the main antagonist played by the top-billed actor. That kind of misfire is deadly, and when it's so important to every part of the film, it can almost cause a chain reaction that destroys the entire production. If there's any lesson to be learned here, it's simple. If you want to tell a good story for the screen, make sure everyone is aiming at the same target. Otherwise, you might get something like a Count Carrey. And that, among other things, is rather unfortunate. Hey, thanks for watching this little video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed what you saw and heard today, subscribe. It's the easiest way to let me know that I should keep making internet videos. Real quick, I'd like to give a shout out to my lovely friends Franco Romero, Sean Capdeville, and Zoe Brazil for helping me with the script for this video. Make sure you also check out my other videos right here. Until next time, friends.